Hi, Alexa. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Ranjit. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. So
Good.
tell me, Alexa, what's we are having today?
Well, we got a couple questions from some more students, and also some EB1A aspirants from our Facebook group chat. So just want to get some answers from you about these students that are looking for some answers.
Absolutely. So let's begin.
Awesome. Okay. Well, the first question that we have on the board today is from our group chat. Is from Ying Fu. It says, "Hello. I would like to consult EB1. I am a landscaper, constructor, and florist. I work in Shanghai, China. I have my own studio and company serving Shanghai's high-end people and have a good reputation, but no article has been published and no certification. Can you help me how to operate it?"
Okay. Now, Yingfu, you look to us that you're from China or Korea. That's congratulations on embarking on the journey for your EB1A. Now, let's first understand that EB1A is essentially meant for professionals who are at the top of their field. So, no matter your profession, it looks to me that if you are a landscape constructor and a florist, it looks to me that your expertise would be in the spirit of art actually here. And if you are doing this as an artist, you need to be best in the kind of field in your expertise. That's the way I would put at it. Reputation management is not a criteria for your EB1A. One needs to be mindful of that. And once you need to kind of prove certain degree of award, certain degree of high degree of recognition, and essentially you have to prove that what is the impact factor of the work that you have created. So that's how it is going to be. And I would urge you to kind of excel in your field. Suddenly, because of your work, you might get some awards in your expertise. You may be invited for some judging opportunities in your field. You may get some other opportunities like memberships. There could be some kind of a original design that you may present. So those are some of the elements and components that are going to help you. I hope that answers the question.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I really hope that answers your question too, Ying. Perfect. Well, the next question that we have is a three-part question from Pratik. So the first question that we have is, in lieu of a journalist's name for media coverage, would something like by ET Desk Team or by TOI Web Team work?
Okay. Um Pratik, I think you had sent us this question before, and I'm happy to take this to you. Now, let's also understand that your question, what you are seeking right now, is pertaining to the fact that whether a media coverage in Financial Express or IBT desk team, I think that should not be a problem because all articles are not, kind of journalists may not put their name. It could be a team that could be kind of giving responses or kind of doing it. Let us say, for example, there is a budget happening. You are a finance expert, and you are giving comment on budget. It could be a ET budget team. That is definitely acceptable. I would strongly be not in favor of press releases which are given actually for this particular purpose, because press releases do not really would help or qualify, in my personal view, as a media coverage, because it is not the media writing about you. It's about you are basically just giving a release for yourself. So that may not qualify, but the question that you are asking may qualify. Now, having said this, I would always give a disclaimer, and which I always say, that never try to fulfill or try to fit in yourself into a criteria. But more important is, we have had people, for example, people fulfilling even 8 criteria, 6 criteria, and not getting closer to becoming EB1A actually anywhere. So having a criteria centric approach is not necessarily a good idea, I would say that. So what's the second question?
Perfect. Okay. The second question is, if one has a designation of lead business analyst, but data available with BLS or salary comparison website have it for role of business analyst, will it be acceptable?
I mean, I I don't know where you are based actually right now. Are you based in which part of the world? if you are in India, you may not even need this. And for that matter, you don't even have to necessarily go by only the BLS sites here. Let's understand that what you are trying to demonstrate the is not really, I mean, by virtue of going for this criteria, you are essentially trying to impress the USCIS by stating that, well, you are an expert in your field and you are comparably, as compared to other professionals, you are getting a certain amount of salary which is high. Now, you are talking about business system analyst, there could be system analyst. If you are on H1B, I would strongly suggest you look at your SOC code which has been filed at that particular moment of time. If you're in India, then the whole approach will be very different. We need to have more details to give you more incisive inputs on this particular matter. But assuming for a moment that you are in India, you are in the USA, and you are looking at business system analyst, I think I would always look at your H1B, and I would always request you to consult a lawyer to kind of what is the best benchmark, because I would strongly not be in favor of contradicting yourself, that just to fit into a salary you use one particular code and your H1B or other visa categories says different actually. So I hope that answers that question.
Perfect. Well, the last part of Pratik's question is, can presenting your self-published peer-reviewed book with copywriting registration at a major book fair act as an equivalent of display of one's work of artistic exhibition?
Well, the answer is yes and no. Again, I think all these questions are stemming from being a criteria centric. Just pushing a book to an exhibition would not do it. I think the whole purpose of EB1A is to establish that, okay, let's make it much more simple. The whole purpose of your EB1A, that when you're filing an application, you are essentially going to state that, well, I'm an expert in this particular field. I'm the top 1% best in my field, and this is the impact of my work, and this is how I want to contribute to the United States. If you are just kind of again, at the cost of duplication, I would again say that we have had people, we have seen even fulfilling 8 criteria and that not helping anybody actually. So one needs to be very, very careful in this. You're answering again, coming back to your question, it is possible, but what is the impact factor of the work is, I would always ask this question actually, and that needs to do it, because otherwise EB1A is not for something, or you do something yourself, you publish a book and just put it in some exhibition and then say, oh, I fulfill this criteria. I'm getting a particular salary, oh, I fulfill this criteria. I have a good role in a company, and I had had benefited, the company benefited, sorry, because of me. So I fulfill 3 criteria, then they'll I fulfill 3 criteria and give me EB1A. This is not how the EB1A jurisprudence would work. So that's, I hope that takes answers your question actually, and that makes sense.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your questions, and Rajit, thank you so much for answering those. The next question that we have is from MJ. The question is there any minimum number of publications about you in major publications required? 1 or 2 should be considered?
Well, I would again kind of take this question in a very different way, that it's not about number or quantity but the quality. Let us say hypothetically that if you have a publication in a publication Nature, definitely even one publication would be good enough. I mean, that's the way it would be. What is so? I mean, when it comes to publication, I think, and we are talking about a number. So quality and quantity, that stems from the premises that, oh, what's the impact factor of your work actually? What's the impact factor? Not of the work. Sorry, what am I saying? It's the impact factor of the journal. That would make a difference. So if you have a low quality journal, or something what people normally like to call, I think invented a word called predatory journal actually. Now that would not have any impact. So even you may have 100 articles, it may not make any sense. Again, while citations are not the main criteria, but then what is the impact of your work? Citation is just one of the parameters for that. So this would also make a difference here actually. So
Okay.
that's what my response would be.
Perfect. Okay, well, thank you so much for answering that question. The next question we have is from Sam. The question is, when we talk about judging, being judged on some awards, does it suffice the requirement?
Well, can you repeat the question and let us break down and the understanding what Sam is trying to ask? Can you repeat the question?
Of course. The question is, when we talk about judging, being judged on some awards, does it suffice the requirement?
You see, I would not say what do you mean by some awards. It is not just some awards. So I think when it comes to something like being a judging, okay, who are the judges? Which is the institution that invited you? Why were you invited? Uh, what was the purpose for which you did? How many people you judged? Who were the past judges? Who were the awardees? What was the quality of application done? I would go into 20 other things like this to evaluate the assessment. So somebody is a let's say judge at a Nobel committee. I mean, definitely that makes a tremendous impact. But some award, I mean, is it at a county level? Is it at a state level? Is it at a national level? Is it at an international level? I think all these things would matter. I mean, I would look at this in a not in a very superficial way. Oh, I was judging some award somewhere and will I fulfill the requirement? That would be a very jaundiced view of looking at things, and that may not be a very good idea. I would say that.
Perfect. Okay.
Any other questions? I think I see one question that in the somebody called Karan Mehra. In the field of artificial intelligence, I have developed algorithms that can predict stock market trends. How should I document these achievements for the EB1A category? Okay. Now, Karan, the question that you are asking is that, well, you have developed some kind of an algorithm and you are considering this as an achievement. Now, for the purpose of EB1A, the achievement is not that you have developed. The achievement is what would be the impact factor of the development work that you have done. So merely creating something, even for that matter, a patent or something would not do it. What is the impact? How many people got benefited out of it? What was that benefit? What are the success metrics of those benefits is something that needs to be looked into. Now, you could manifest this. Having said this, that there is a huge impact factor, millions of people have benefited out of this particular work. Then in that case, I think if you want to patent that process, whether if it is patentable, you may like to evaluate that and submit a patent. I would like to put it from this perspective. Uh, how many are there any testimonials? Are there any experts who are ready to kind of vouch for your algorithms from finance experts or somebody that say that oh, well, this is using. Let's say, for example, I'm just making this up. Let's say you have created an algorithm that uses Fibonacci series, for example, in mathematics. There is already an algorithm to that effect, but how it will benefit and how Fibonacci series is applicable for your algorithm and how you have embedded this into the software, I think all these things will matter. And then what has been the benefit out of it? So I would, kind of relate it in that extent, actually. So do you have any other questions, Alexia?
Yes, we have a few more, Ranjit. So
Right.
the next question is from Arav. The question is, I'm an entrepreneur in the renewable energy sector, developing innovative solar panel technologies. Could you suggest effective strategies for gaining international recognition and awards in this field?
Okay. What is the sector did you mention?
The sector is renewable energy.
Okay. Now, if you are doing a renewable energy, again, you have developed something does not make a difference. Again, what I said, is it patentable? What has been the impact factor? How many people have benefited out of it? You see, most people look at EB1A as I have done something. Does it qualify? I would like to put it in a more granular manner. I would always ask a question that, oh, if you have done something, what made you do this? What was the knowledge level or the intellectual or learning quantum you were in to having done that? So basically, you are trying to establish a locus, and then what is the impact factor of that? What is the benefit of that? So you have a work and you have an impact factor. So you should always relate some kind of a work that you have done and what is the benefit. How many people got benefited out of that? How you kind of impacted the world. I mean, just to put this whole question for the purpose of EB1A in a very broader sense. Remember, we are talking about being extraordinary in your own right at a larger level. So fundamentally, we need to put it across like this: that how has the world benefited because of you and your expertise? That's the question that you need to ask. If you didn't exist, how would the world look without you? I think that's the thing. I think we are missing. If we are not answering this question, we are missing it. Let's say, for example, a truly extraordinary people who have made our lives great or different or impactful. Let's say we talk about in today's world. Let's say Elon Musk, for example. How would how would you define that one is an extraordinary or not? One of the ways would be, okay, what would be the world look like without him? How will the world be if one would not be born or did not have that expertise? Ask yourself that question about your own expertise. If you get a conclusive answers, I think you are ready for EB1A. If not, definitely you can work towards it. I would put it in this manner.
Perfect. Okay. Well, looking over my list, that actually was the last question on my side. Did you
Okay.
have anything else for us?
That's wonderful. I think we are going to, from today onwards, I think we understand that there are a lot of people who want to join the next league program and who are interested to meet. And this is a forum also we are going to create to have people join us. And we are going to invite Sachin in the forum. In the future, if anybody else would like to join, please let us know and we'll be happy to invite you. So I'll be inviting Sachin right now to the stage. So hi Sachin, how are you?
Hey Ranjit, I'm good. How are you doing?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Thank you for coming to our session.
Awesome. So we finally see each other. Yeah, I've been following you guys on LinkedIn for quite some time, and yeah, I'm seeing all the good words that everybody's putting for you guys and the work that you're doing. So that's great. So I see some hope for myself, and I think you know everything, uh, where I coming from and where, So I'm really interested in knowing and understanding, because I have a very standard template right now, and it from here it looks like like climbing on a Mount Everest for me. And because the criteria, like you said, impact factor is a big thing, so I don't have any of that. I don't meet any of that criteria. So I'm really so the question that I have is, for a guy like me who has a very standard template and who is right now not hitting on any of the criterias, right? Will the 6 months be good enough, or because it doesn't look like for me. uh, so then if not, then I just want to know if your program has some sort of a structure in terms of that, okay, this is like a milestone based program, so it's going to start in 1 month or 2 months. This is what potentially you will achieve. 2 months, this is will you will potentially achieve, so that by the end of 6 months or maybe like 1 year, this is probably where you will stand. So that's what I'm looking for. That's where I'm actually trying to bridge the gap.
Okay. Sachin, before we go there, just in just 30 seconds, just describe yourself and your profile.
Right. So I'm into SAP ERP consulting. I've been in the US for 14 years. I have total more than 20 years of experience. I've done masters in the US. I've done a doctorate of business administration from the US. I have few publications, but not the impactful publications. But there is one publication which is kind of going underway right now, which is in a top tier journal, but that's still in the pipeline. Uh, like I said, yeah, more than 20 years of my work experience. I'm but Yeah, I'm still on H1B for past 14 years. One of the biggest thing that I'm just trying to get onto fast track on this one is because my son, he's not born in this country, and he just came here when he was 2 years old, and still, after a couple of years,
That's your okay. But answering your specific question, please, there are two elements to it. I would answer it in two ways: what
Okay.
EB1A looks for and how the program is related to that. Let me answer it into, break it down into two things. As far as your EB1A is concerned, let me tell you, you don't really work for EB1A in actual sense. You see, for example, when you did your master's, you love your subject, so you did that. So your striving for becoming excellent in your field has to be the need that should come from you, essentially.
Right.
So that's the first and foremost thing. And EB1A is just a recognition for that. I hope that makes sense. Okay, that's the first. Having said this, Now, this program, there are three essentially dynamics or three dimensions for success of your EB1A. The first is degree of your expertise. So basically, this program is not going to teach you your subject matter. It's like, okay, you have to be an expert or strive towards that excellence in your expertise. So let's say if you're a doctor or if you're a AI engineer or you are a you could be health in a healthcare. So basically you have to be at a certain degree of level, and let's hypothetically say you are at 7 or 8, you need to be, or 9, let us say. This is a first success dimension for your EB1A. The second dimension is understanding EB1A jurisprudence. What USCIS is looking for, what is the purpose of this criteria, from where, what is the genesis of those criteria. Now, this program will help you to understand this in a very, very granular manner. And the third dimension is how to present yourself. Okay, what kind of letters are required? Do you require letters? What are the ideal criteria for you? These are some of the things that will finally do it. Now, this whole program is an interplay between the three things. Now, degree of your expertise. Number 2 is understanding EB1A jurisprudence, and the last is degree, how to present yourself. Now, let's say, for example, if somebody is a Nobel laureate, his expertise is 10 out of 10. Now, in that case, his understanding of EB1A jurisprudence could be 1 or 2. And third thing is, how to present yourself. One could just simply write a letter on a plain piece of paper, handwritten, and one would be, I think, qualified for EB1A. So, let us say the coordinates in these three dimensions for somebody who is extremely high in his field of expertise is, let us say, 10-1-1, somebody who is a Nobel laureate. But in people like you and me, we need to understand also what USCIS is looking for and how to present yourself. So it will have to be, if not 10, at least 9 and 9. If our expertise is 7 or 8. So the coordinates for that is something like 7 or 8, 9 and 9. So basically what is happening is, if you visualize this as a 3 dimension, there is a sweet spot between 7-9-9 and 10-1-1. So even to identify that sweet spot is a good enough. So let's say it's something akin to this, that you want to, I think you gave a beautiful example of, I love to state that you have to climb Mount Everest, but you don't even know where to start. You don't even know the trail. At least this program in 6 months will give you that trail. It will give you a precise path, what would make you an EB1A ready to a highest possible level, actually. And yes, it may, for some people, out of 13 people who got EB1A from the program, we have had at least 10 people who took a lot more than 6 months, but up to 12 months. And there are people who even got within 6 months. They put in more efforts. They had their past success metrics. Now, again, having said this, what we have also seen is people don't realize what they might have done before, actually, and what has been the possible impact. So this program also serves as an opportunity to see a mirror of your work. So, and what could potentially be useful for your EB1A application when you want to submit. Does that answer your question, Sachin?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I mean, I understand the dynamics and the numerics of, what would it take, because I've been following EB1A for quite some time. But, like, that's the biggest challenge is, the way now to climb to that way is going to take, a lot of due diligence and, time and practice. So I guess, yeah, that's a big thing.
Sachin, if you don't do anything, nothing happens.
Right.
Somewhere down the line, one can, normally we come across as, 3 kinds of people. People who crib and don't do anything, people who want to do something but don't act, and then people who are decisive in their decision making and incisive in their actions. And we have seen them being successful, because after having, coached and mentored over 50,000 people across my whole life, I mean, it's a certain degree of pattern that makes you successful in life. So I would just leave it at that. So anything else before we move on?
The only question, Ranjit, I want to ask is, I'm sorry, Ranjit, the only question I want to ask is, because, it is very important for me to understand that in your cohort, is there somebody who would meet the criteria that I am in? Because, I certainly wanted to make sure that, there's a success case who has done this, who is potentially of my, same, think that I have, same criteria that I'm fulfilling at this point. So that would really help me to kind
Yeah,
of
yes. Uh, we have people across in the cohort, multiple people with almost each and every expertise that we can think of.
Mhm.
But what we don't have is people who are artists. This right now the program is not geared up towards that, or athletes. Okay, or but we have from professor to being a doctors, we have medical profession, everybody we have. But always remember, EB1A, it may sound paradoxical to you, the person when you're writing an application, you're writing to a person who may not even be a lawyer or expert in your field. So basically, you are telling when you tell talking to USCI. So finally, Sachin, let's to kind of close the discussion on this particular matter. When you are applying for your EB1A, essentially what you are doing is as follows: you are talking to White House and telling them that, look, I'm Sachin, I'm an expert in this particular field. There are 1.5 million people waiting for the green card. Please give me a green card because I'm an expert and this is what I bring on the table for United States, and this is how I will benefit the United States. And please give me a green card in 15 days. And please write on the green card that I am person of extraordinary ability, because the green card actually states your category also actually here, very specifically, that is EB1A. Now to reach that level of mindset, you are not supposed to talk to an expert. You are not, you are establishing your expertise, but you don't have to be an, kind of other person is not to be an expert. That presentation is something which is important. So the people in our, you see, when we started the program, we had people from across the multiple disciplines we had, and we have been able to help them actually. So no matter what the stream that you belong to, because these are questions everybody would constantly have. So I hope it's like this. You go to a school, there are multiple different kinds of people and different experts like doing, but there is something that you have to understand, that when you are talking to USCIS, in fact, the person may not be a lawyer also for that matter. Is that fine with you?
Yes, that's
Okay.
fine.
So wish you all the best, Sachin, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
So thank you. That was Sachin for us, friends, and that's wonderful. And guys, if you're looking to kind of join us, please, there will be a link below to book a call with my team members, Director of Admission. We'll be happy to help you and a lot other people. We have currently over 150 people in the program. We are excited to have you amongst us. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. And thank you very much for joining, Alexa.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Ranjit, for allowing me to be here. Thank you guys for the great questions.